Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going over another campaign diary. Stick with it. Season 3 time! So on a budget of $2, I've written a D&D campaign diary for you today. And that may be found in my D&D binder here. Let me pull that out real quick. And I know this is Tome of One-Shots, but this is also the binder I use for one-shots. So the campaign diary we're going to do today is actually the first of 3 parts. Woo! Now, the reason why I'm doing this campaign diary in 3 parts is because my group of 3 people from the Incendium campaign, Noah, Dustin, and Todd, they all decided that, they met this guy named Morrow at the end of the other one, and Morrow basically is like, oh, there's magic items in these 3 dungeons you can go get, and they then decided to split up and each take a dungeon, which is fine with me. I think that's actually really fun. I like that. I like that idea of one-on-one sessions with people. I've ran 2 of those as of this day, the day that I'm recording this, of course, being July 20th. Now, I ran Dustin's dungeon, first dungeon. Dustin, of course, playing Jebeddo. At this point, he was level 2, traveling to the dungeon and everything like that. Got him up to level 3, so now he's a level 3 druid. Circled the land, and the land that he chose was forest, because he was, of course, from the country of Valkorig. Valkorig, of course, having the main forest on the continent of Nartora. Now, Dustin, of course, going after the toasted, studded leather armor in the town of Brentine, which is where they currently were. Now, from the outside, he noticed that the temple is made entirely of polished red rubies, and there is a flame on the roof. There are multiple golden dragonborn guards that are heavily armored, and they have long swords that are sheathed. He notices images of gold dragons across the inside of the temple, of course, when he enters. There are beautiful gold and red rugs laid out on the ground, and a gold dragonborn walks up to him. And the dragonborn says that he was expecting them. He was expecting them because the head priest told him that Jebeddo was going to be coming to the dungeon, or to this temple. And, of course, the head priest walks over, and he is a red-haired human who is bald on the top, has a red-haired beard. They talk for a little bit, and then he says he knows why Jebeddo is there. He wants the armor, and he sends them to the basement of the temple. By the way, he also mentions that at the end of the temple is the first follower of Ignis who will give him the armor. It's almost like this temple was giving him a test in order to see if he was worthy enough to have the armor. First thing that Dustin did when he walked in the temple, he fought a Shadow Mastiff right off the bat. Level 3 druid going up against a Shadow Mastiff is a pretty tough fight. Dustin managed to beat it pretty fast, actually. Then he walked into another room. After beating the Shadow Mastiff, he noticed that there was a corridor to the left and a corridor to the right. He, of course, went to the right. In this, he saw a dead body who looks like it was singed to death. In through the left, he went down a corridor, made it to a hallway, and in this hallway, it was a room that had a gnoll inside of it, so he fought the gnoll, beat the gnoll. He went further down this hallway, and in this hallway was it was just a random hallway. Well, I had it originally set up to be a Grimlock, but because it was only one person, I thought 2 people were going to do this. I thought Todd and Dustin were going to do this one. But it turns out that Dustin was only doing this one solo, so I scratched off this hallway that I had, but it was originally supposed to be a Grimlock. Down a passageway, there's a were-rat in human form, and that were-rat... Well, sorry, he then got to another hallway, and then this hallway, there were multiple dart traps. He was able to investigate and successfully make it through, only getting hit by 1 dart trap. Then he came to a T in the road where he can make a right or a left. He decided to make the left first, and down the way to the left, he noticed that there was a were-rat. Well, he didn't know it was a were-rat. He noticed a human child in the room, very, very, very sad and crying and like very, he didn't know where his brother went and all this other stuff. And basically, he comforted the child and did everything that I thought he was going to do, and he did it well, so that child did not turn into a were-rat and attack him. Then he went down to the right, another hallway. Through this hallway, nothing really of great interest other than he noticed a painting, and this painting was orange. This painting was orange in this hallway. He then went further down, through the dungeon, and then he came to a part where there was a room to the right, and he could go straight ahead too, so he went to the room to the right first, and he became fully healed. He basically became fully healed. His health is all back up. He got all his spell slots back. It's like taking a long rest, but just in this room. Then he went to the other room. He went straight then, and then he only saw a sword laying on the ground. He just decided, I don't want it. I'm going to walk around it, which was smart because that sword was a mimic. He then met a golden drake who said, you can rest up if you want. I'll guard you and protect you. And he decided he didn't really need it, but he did talk to the golden drake a little bit, and the golden drake turned into the gold dragon board from the beginning of the temple. He then came to a hallway. He went in the hallway. In the hallway, he had to make a wisdom saving throw because basically what happened is he went in, he failed his wisdom save, he made a con save, he threw up, took psychic damage because this hallway was called the Hallway of Confusion. Then he passed his next save and he was moving on. Next up, the next passageway, he saw a painting that was half orange, half black. Then he kept going, blah, 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 blah. He came up to another doorway. Inside of this doorway was like a small little closet. Inside the closet was a red bowl, and it had a black flame in it, and it said it said an eternal flame for my son Letifer. Then he went down. He found another painting that was half black, half orange. Then he found another room. It was a pile of bones. Keep going through this dungeon, blah, 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 blah. He then gets to a hallway. In this hallway, there was a woman and a man sitting at a table. Both the woman and the man were dead. There was a candle in the center of the table. This candle, at further investigation, came out that it was lit at one time. Like it had the wax, you know how when candle, the wax from the top melts and then it comes down and then it re-solidifies down at the bottom of the candle. That's kind of what happened to this one. Moving along, he then came to a hallway. When he was in this hallway, he passed the saving throw. And yeah, he passed the saving throw. And this hallway was a hallway of alignment change. The next one, he went inside of a room, and there was a image of a baby boy, naked, placed between, it was like set up like the other painting, half orange, half black. In the middle was a baby boy. Then there was a hallway of illusion. He needed to make a wisdom save, and he didn't, so he saw images of his brother getting murdered. His brother did get murdered. That's part of his character's backstory. Jebeddo's brother got murdered, so he saw images of that murder taking place over and over and over again until he passed a wisdom saving throw. All right, and then he went in and he got trapped in a room. There was only wood set up like a fireplace, so he lit a fire. The door opened. He got out. He went into another hallway, and in this hallway, he had to roll another chance for a hallway of alignment change, and he failed this roll. So now his alignment, instead of being chaotic good, which Jebeddo was, he is now... I think it was either true neutral or lawful neutral or something of the sort. He now is of a neutral alignment. Then he had to go through another hallway called the Hallway of Flames, where he had to make a con save or take 2d6 fire damage. He eventually made it to the end of the dungeon with an ancient gold dragon who gave him the armor. The armor itself was a +1 studded leather armor. So instead of it being like your AC starts at 12, like regular studded leather armor, your AC starts at 13, and you add your dex mod, of course, to your AC. And basically, another thing about the leather armor was it gives him fire resistance. he talked with this dragon for a while, basically asking about multiple different things. And the dragon answered all of the questions he had about who Letifer was, what is his meaning, you know, what's the deal with the gods. And turns out that that dragon morphed into the head priest, who was the bald guy with the red-haired beard. So that was pretty much Dustin's dungeon. He basically found out who Letifer was. Letifer, of course, being the son of Ignis and Morn. The reason why Morn was kicked out of heaven. And basically, that's it. That's what Dustin figured out in his dungeon. He found out that Morn and Ignis had a child named Letifer, and that Morn was kicked out of heaven because of it. And the only reason why Ignis wasn't was because Vasca, the goddess of water, aka Ignis' sister, was able to convince the gods not to kick her out. But Morn still got kicked out. Him and his brother Thok didn't do a well enough job of persuading the gods. All right, so that's pretty much it for this dungeon. Things I learned about making this dungeon and running my first solo session. Really, things I learned from that was solo sessions are very different. They go a lot quicker. Dustin's went. Usually our sessions take anywhere between 3 to 5 hours. I do like to run some shorter sessions. I don't like to run like 8-hour sessions, but for some people that might be long for a session. But for me, it's not. That's a decent amount of time. Also, Dustin leveled up again at the end of the dungeons. Now he's a level 4 druid. Circle of the Land, Forest. But solo sessions take way shorter. This one took between 2 to 3 hours. The one I ran with Todd yesterday, he finished in about 3 hours. So 2 to 3 hours, 2 to 3 to 4 hours, depending on the person you're running the session with, is about good for a single session. Group of 3, you're looking anywhere from 3 to 5, and just keep adding on from that when you go up higher. I ran a game with 5 players, and we got through a session in 5 hours. Or 4, or, you know, it all depends on how much you want to throw at your players, and you write session notes, you know, or if you write a dungeon, you create a dungeon that has like, you know, like, just, it's like a maze or whatever, and you have like your dungeon set up, and you have it numbered, but realize that it's okay to stop in the middle of something. They don't always get like a short rest or a long rest or whatever. There is always a chance to stop and say, okay, we'll finish it next session. That's always okay to do. Now, Dustin got all his dungeon done, and in the next video of this campaign diary, I will be talking about Todd going through his session. So, if you want to see that video, stick with it. Probably going to be coming out a day or two after this one. And, you know, I hope you all are having a great time, having a great day, wherever you are, whenever you're watching this. And I'll see you in the next one.